Good evening and thanks for joining us. The potential for a Terry Fox exhibit and museum in Thunder Bay looks unlikely. Councillor Ken Boshkoff believes the city is an ideal location for more than 150,000 items collected by the Fox family, but it doesn't look good according to a memo coming to council tomorrow night. A collection of Terry Fox artifacts are currently stored at a facility in Burnaby, BC, but there is search for a permanent home. The Fox family has acknowledged Thunder Bay, along with St. John's and Ottawa, would be a logical location for the collection. However, the family's vision is for a museum and research center of about 55,000 square feet in the Vancouver area. According to a report coming to council, at this time, the family does not wish to have it located elsewhere. Boshkoff says he wishes the city would have been more enthusiastic about approaching the family. The education critique for the Ontario PC Party is speaking out about the state of readiness by high school students for entering college courses. Robert Leone was in Thunder Bay this week and specifically focused on mathematics as an area of improvement. He says the country spends around $8.5 billion annually on education, but he says recently there has been a decline in student enrollment in the 250,000 range. He also says there is a growing concern over our declining test results internationally. As a result, the PCs have released a Math Achievement Action Plan.
Colleges and universities across Ontario, they're saying that when high school graduates are coming to them, they just don't have sufficient math skills to succeed. We're talking about the College Math Project. We have 1/3 of students, once they get to college, are unable to get a D or they're getting an F in school.
Leone says math is key in every possible job. In the case of Northwestern Ontario, he says skilled trades that are needed in projects like the Ring of Fire will require a strong understanding of math. Just under a decade ago, Domtar's sawmill business in White River turned to dust, and the future of the single industry town was in doubt, but a historic partnership emerged with neighboring Pic-Mobart First Nation that has the mill and the town up and running again. John Thompson reports.
Long-serving White River Mayor Angelo Bizzoni watched a trend of Northern Ontario mills mothballed and in bankruptcy, but he vowed to hold on to local industry even if the town had to spend over $1 million of its own money to buy it, and that's exactly what they did. White River and Pic-Mobart First Nation split half of the 35-year-old sawmill's ownership, creating a business model that is rebounding local fortunes. White River Forest Products' 120 employees rolled out the first boards in October. Companies bailed out through grants and loans were failing, but despite denied applications, the mill in White River has opened again.
Without the township and the First Nations taking the immediate actions, I'm afraid that our sawmill would have followed suit with some of the others and been introduced to the wrecking ball. It's a very unique initiative, one that Ministry of Municipal Affairs did not support. The Ontario government, despite all of the programs that they say are there to help small communities in the forest industry, we got nil to no help other than maybe a photo shoot on their part.
The other half of that ownership belongs to former Tembec President Frank Dettori. The forestry industry icon arranged to sell chips to the recently launched Burla mill in Terrace Bay, started a trust fund for training in Pic-Mobart, and has plans to increase the 22,000 feet per hour up to 25 by year's end. He says selling wood into the rebounding American housing market is complex when it comes to government support.
If I was a car manufacturer, okay, I could probably, if I'm going to spend $15 million in this plant, or $20 million, which is probably what we're going to have to spend to really get it up and running efficiently, I'd probably get 10 as a grant or loan or repayable from the government. As a lumber industry, the government won't do that because they're worried about the mighty U.S. Putting tariffs on the lumber because of the agreement that Mr. Harper signed, which sort of ticks me off.
Domtar sold the adjacent 7.5 megawatt biomass generator as part of the deal, but the provincial license is expired and it's not issuing renewals under the Green Energy Plan. If White River had the deal Domtar had, it would have been able to power the entire mill with half of its energy capacity and sell the remainder into the grid at a profit.
Well, we're lobbying for it, but there's about 130 companies out there also, who have the programs that have been terminated, and we hope to get an exception for this plant, but that's not an easy thing to get, because, you know, politically it's tough for the government to say, you know, I'll give you and I'm not giving you. So it's going to be a tough to get there.
With its entire wood supply within 100 kilometers, White River is among the lowest wood costs of any sawmill in eastern Canada. The hurdles remain significant, but White River has become a mill town once more. John Thompson, TBT News.
The Nuclear Waste Management Organization wrapped up its spring tour of the Northwest last week in White River and Manitowich. The Learn More process has caught the attention of small towns across the region as Canada searches for a willing community to accept its nuclear waste. Jonathan Wilson reports.
Attendance was low over 2 days, but White River's economy isn't in the same place it was when it began what the NWMO calls the Learn More process. By the time 40 residents passed through the organization's second open house in White River this past week, the idled mill had risen under new ownership and the tumbling population had stabilized. Angelo Bizzoni is the mayor of White River. His priority is ensuring all demographics of people in White River and neighboring Pic-Mulbert First Nation have the opportunity to have their questions answered.
At this time, though, it's too early to tell. We did indicate shortly after our mill closed that White River was looking at various opportunities, and we wouldn't leave a stone unturned, hoping that there's be some opportunities for our community. So this is just one that we're doing the research, and for the next number of years, it'll just be gathering information.
Patrick Dalsetti has represented the NWMO across the region this winter and will continue to northeastern and southern Ontario. He says the tour of the Northwest has blazed new inroads and sparked up the conversation.
Some communities obviously have been in the project a little longer. Scriber and Ignace or Hornpain are a little further in the process, so the base level of understanding is greater. But I think for the most part, people are wanting to continue to learn. Everyone realizes that no one is being asked to make any decisions. It's a Learn More program, and the goal here is to learn to see if the project may be a fit for a particular community or region.
Airborne surveys are being conducted in Scriber, Hornpain, and Ignace, where surveyors will walk the land this summer. Evaluating the geology in areas identified around those communities could take several years. The three are the furthest along in the 9-phase ladder that will take another generation to decide the final resting place for Canada's nuclear waste. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Terrence Bay has released the price tag affixed to its planned housing boom, and it's pegged at $64 million. The Superior North Shore town has wrapped up consultation on its expansion, which will include housing in all price ranges with a hope for waterfront and marina development as well. The projected growth is based on supporting an increasing number of seniors along with the planned dissolving pulp upgrade at the Burla Mill. Town manager Jonathan Hall says the $64 million figure would be cost prohibitive for Terrence Bay alone. The town will appeal to private investors for 2/3 of that value, and it hopes the last third will be split between the municipality and senior levels of government.
It looks rather large, the amount of money that's being discussed. But the thought is that this wouldn't go forward without a private sector partner or developer coming in to do it. At the same time, if the numbers work out properly, it's approximately $20 million investment from the municipality. Reality, that's $20 million investment from all levels of government. So the municipality would certainly be seeking out federal and provincial funding or for their share anyways.
The Thunder Bay District Services Board recently rejected a Terrence Bay application to build supportive housing on the site of the former Royal Canadian Legion building. Science on diabetes, pictographs, and the Northern Lights barely scratched the surface of this year's Aboriginal Science Fair at Confederation College. Aboriginal students from all over the region got together to teach people their findings on the unique scientific topics. Around 25 students from Pickle Lake, Nipigon, Red Rock, Dryden, Geraldtown, and Thunder Bay attended the 5th annual Aboriginal Science Fair hosted by the college's Let's Talk Science Outreach program. The Aboriginal Mentorship Program from Lakehead University also helped out with this year's event. Each students get to set out with a goal to create an interesting and interactive display for the public, and none disappointed.
The 5th annual Aboriginal Science Fair, that we're able to offer this to the Aboriginal youth in the region, and great to see a showcase of some young talent and young scientists.
Anytime students get together to learn and inform each other, it's amazing. Just from the youth that they're able to come together and do something like this, it's really cool to see.
Believed to be an important link in bridging and encouraging Aboriginal students to continue their education after high school.